What's up, Brigade? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday, a BetCris Arizona Thursday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. I'm Matt Peralta. We are live on YouTube and on X, Twitter. We are replayed on Sports Grid Television and audio podcasts wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. How do you like the new camera? All right. If you were one of the people, and Sonic was one of them, who got an email, text, or call from me today asking how to help, my gosh, I spent the better part of 3 hours today trying to get this set up right with this new camera. And it's a riot because I'm doing the show today in New Hampshire and tomorrow in New Hampshire. And then I'm on a plane back to Las Vegas where I have to do it all over again to get everything right for the program. So I hope that you guys appreciate the effort today. We are on live. We have a ton of things to get into, but there is a little bit of a new look here. Okay. So we have a new camera, a sharper look for us here. It is freezing here in New Hampshire. And I mean freezing. It is 42 degrees outside at the moment. I am not ready for this. I do not know where our guest is going to be. Adam Bjorn, where in the world will Adam Bjorn be? I told you I'm giving somebody a hat if you get the call right. If it's America, okay, I didn't think it through. Like he might be in America. So a bunch of you guys have answered America. So I can't give away hats to everyone. So if he is in the United States, and again, I don't know where he is. If he is in the United States, I'll find everybody who picked Adam Bjorn in America. And I then will pull one name out of a hat of those people that picked America. And then we'll see which one of you guys gets the BVB hat, which again, we are efforting to create a store and a whole thing. It's been a process. It's been a lot of work. And what I didn't anticipate was a lot of people coming out of the woodwork wanting to be a part of it. I've got like 4 or 5 different options. So I'm trying to like sift through like what's the best quality, best option, all of it. So like I'm trying to like get through everything for all of this. So hopefully I will have some more information soon. But if you guys have gone completely like off the beaten path and you guys have gone like Cyprus, I think it's in Cyprus. It's interesting. Dominic, I can answer that question for you if you want. But remember, he doesn't call it sharp. They call it master money is what they call it at BetCris Arizona. So where the master money comes in, that's the quote sharp money. If you want to hear, if you're curious as to like what he's talking about, but I could answer that coming up at some point in the future. Man, Butchie, have you been to Malta? I didn't know Malta was that pretty. I knew Malta was a cool country, and I knew it, I forget which coast that's off of. It's off of the European coast, like the French Riviera. Is that where Malta is? But I saw someone post pictures of Malta, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Malta is incredible. Like that's a really gorgeous country. So yes, I may need to tag along coming up here. The Breeders' Cup is this weekend, okay? But I don't think Adam's going to the Breeders' Cup. The Breeders' Cup is in San Diego. Remember last year, Dave and I did the show live. So they're not, I don't know. Maybe he's there. Oh, south of Italy. That's where Malta is. Oh, it's off of Sicily. Maybe I need to go there. Yeah. I've been trying to put together, my daughter wants to go to Italy. I've never been to Italy. Maybe we do a double trip. Maybe we go to Malta and we go to Italy. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure that out. That's pretty cool. It's over by Greece and Turkey. Okay. So it's in that part of the world. So he might be there. I don't know. He might be there. He might be in America. He might not be. I have no idea where Adam Bjorn will be, but he'll be joining us here coming up in about 10 minutes or so. So stick around coming up for that on a BetCris Arizona Thursday. Thank you for those guys. If you're in Arizona, remember that Prime Sports is equally involved. So Kentucky, this is a big run for Prime Sports here with the Breeders' Cup. Okay. A lot of action. If you're in Kentucky and you have a chance to bet on the Breeders' Cup and you have options, Prime Sportsbook I would love to see you guys go and use Prime Sportsbook coming up. If you're in New Jersey, if you're in Ohio, if you're in Arizona, BetCris Arizona. Yes, they are the brand we use, but Planetech is the platform that is what Joe Brennan Jr. and Adam Bjorn are a part of. So if you have options to use it this weekend for the Breeders' Cup, we would love to see you guys use Prime Sportsbook or BetCris Arizona for your sports betting needs when it comes to the Breeders' Cup. Let's get into some baseball first because we got a whole lot of football coming at you guys here on the program with NFL week number 9 and college football week number 10. But we start the show looking back at what happened last night to the offense for one of the best teams in the last 5 years offensively. All of a sudden can't get a hit. All right, opening line. Are the Dodgers done? Like, real question. Are the Dodgers done? The Dodgers got smoked last night, and it wasn't just the way the game began, because obviously when you have 2 batters and you're down 2-0, that is not good in a 5th game where you need to control it at home because you know you have to go to Toronto for Game 6 and Game 7. I don't like the 2-3-2 format, okay? I was on the record yesterday saying that. I still don't like the 2-3-2 format, but here we go to Toronto with the Blue Jays up 3-2. Essentially, you know, if you look at the home field advantage that the Dodgers thought they were going to have, when you give up a home run on the first pitch of the game and it's 1-0 after 1 pitch, that's bad enough, okay? You're going, oh my gosh. And then you give up a second home run immediately after that. Back-to-back home runs to start the game for the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, you can't ask for a better start. I mean, you can't ask for a better moment. I mean, that's incredible. It's World Series history, the first team in World Series history to lead off a game in the World Series with back-to-back home runs. But it wasn't just the offense. It was the pitching. Yasevich had 12 Ks. That's the most Ks for a rookie in World Series history. After the game, he said, quote, "I was hoping I would send him home upset," talking about the crowd. He took the crowd completely out of the game. You know, you're down 2-0, and it's like, okay, we got the 22-year-old pitcher has been outstanding here in the playoffs. The same way that, Yasevich has been as good as any pitcher you could have asked for if you're the Blue Jays. I mean, you're giving the ball to a guy who literally was in single A earlier this year. I mean, he has no business doing what he is doing, but he's been so good and so dependable for this team. First round pick last year. He started in single A, was still in the minors in September. He's made more big league starts in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. And he's now the first rookie in postseason history with multiple 10 strikeout games in one playoff. We've talked about the starting pitching for the Dodgers for the entire series, going into the series, right? We talk about Snell. We talk about Yamamoto. We talk about Ohtani. We talk about Glasnow. And the way they performed against the Brewers, they were unbelievable. They were unhittable. And they just swept right through. But this is looking like it's going to be for the 5th consecutive time, the team that went to a Game 7 and they faced off against the team that went 4-0 and swept through the championship series, that the team that went to Game 7 is going to win the World Series. It's going to be 5 straight times if the Blue Jays do wind up winning this. And there's just something for that rhythm, right? There's just something for that when you win Game 7. This has not been like, the Red Sox and the Cardinals. This has not been like a hot knife through butter like it was in 2004. But it is really impressive to see what the what the Blue Jays have done to the Dodgers. But you have to ask, where is the Dodger offense? What happened to the Dodger offense? Regardless of the starting pitching, the bullpen has still been asked to come into the game for the Blue Jays. 4 runs in the last 29 innings for the Dodgers. That is unbelievable. You have to go, okay, hold on. Is it Ohtani and nobody else? Is that the only weapon that this offense has? Is Ohtani? Because at the moment, the answer to that would be yes. That it's only right now, either Ohtani is driving in runs and hitting home runs, or this team is not scoring. And yes, you win a 18-inning marathon. You win it on a solo shot by Freddie Freeman. Huge win. And that was one of those games where you were like, man, you win Game 3. It was a pivotal swing game. You win that after 18 innings. You have Ohtani going in Game 4. You win Game 4. You're up 3-1. You can win the World Series at home, Or you can wind up having to go and have to go back to Toronto, but you know you're going to be going back up 3-2. You feel good about where you were if you're if you're the Dodgers up against this Blue Jays lineup. Now, oh no, this is going to be, you're going up against a team that had 54 wins during the regular season at home. In game 6, the Dodgers are favored -150. They're favored in game 6. They're favored to force a game 7. But do you trust the Dodgers? Because I'm not so sure I'm going to trust the Dodgers, not with what's going on with Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts said after game number 5, I've just been terrible. He's batting 130. The 3-time World Series champion can't buy an extra base hit. He's had a couple of singles. That's it. For a lineup that is not the same without Mookie Betts swinging the bat. I mean, we know how good Ohtani is, right? He's the GOAT. He's the best player we've ever seen. Ohtani is Ohtani. So you put Ohtani on this different level. You know what Freddie Freeman is. Freddie's a great hitter. He's a champion. But after that, you start looking at this lineup for the Dodgers and you start asking some real questions about what the heck is going on. These guys right now look lost. They moved Will Smith up to the number 2 spot in the lineup last night. That was somewhat of a panic move by Dave Roberts to make that adjustment in the lineup. It kind of worked. He went 1 for 4 with 2 Ks. Mookie went 0 for 4 batting third. They thought if they move him down in the lineup, that might be decent. They put Call in the game to try to give some protection because the bottom of the order, they've just been walking Ohtani because he leads off and there's nobody on base. So try to get some runners in front of Ohtani when he's batting in the leadoff spot. But Kike hit a home run last night. So that was good. But Muncy's done nothing. Edmonds done nothing. Teoscar Hernandez has been good. I mean, he's been the other bat besides Ohtani who's been producing. But when you're up against a lineup for Toronto that has just hit after hit after hit and player in bat after bat after bat. I mean, Schneider's home run was incredible. Vladdy. Bichette with a huge single. I mean, Kirk's been really good. Varsho 1 for 4 last night. I mean, Barger is tremendous. 2 hits last night for Barger. I mean, you look at the lineup, and we knew the Blue Jays could hit, but the figure was, okay, the Blue Jays hit. On the flip side, we know the Dodgers can pitch. The underbelly has been the bullpen for the Dodgers, and we had talked about that going into the series. If you're going to make this into a real series, that the Blue Jays must make the Dodgers pay for going into the bullpen. And Banda was bad last night. You know, they just haven't had arms that have come out to dominate and to shut down this lineup. Even though they pitched, 11 innings in game 3? 11 innings without giving up a run, the bullpen did for the Dodgers. It's just night in and night out. You don't know what you're going to get out of this team. So here's the question. The Dodgers are $2 dogs to win the World Series. It's plus 200 on the Dodgers. Can you talk yourself in to betting the Dodgers? Because the question is this. In game 6, you're going to have Yamamoto. You have a guy who has just thrown back-to-back complete games in the postseason. There is no pitcher you would rather have on the mound if you were a Dodger fan than Yamamoto. He's the guy. So he will go in game number 6. In game 7, it's all hands on deck. If you get past a game 6, and like I mentioned, they're minus 150 on the money line. So the books think, at least they think the people are going to bet the Dodgers to win game 6. But there is a path that you can examine here and say, how do the Dodgers win the World Series? Well, they win the World Series by winning game 6 and forcing a game 7 in which it is all hands on deck. Now, it'll be all hands on deck as well for the Blue Jays. I mean, Fesevich might wind up pitching in game 7. I mean, the kid's 22 years of age. I mean, he's got a live arm like we know. He might wind up going in game 7 for the Blue Jays, with given how dominant that kid has been. But if you are a Dodger fan, I don't think all is lost. I don't think this is completely over. Okay. I don't think that's like the only thing that you're going to see. I think this is a opportunity for, if you're a Dodger fan, to see some magic. Okay, let's see what your team is made out of. Let's see what the muscle, let's see what the metal of this team really is all about. Because they have been the darling of baseball for the better part of 3 years. They've had the biggest payroll. They've had the best lineup in baseball. They have consistently produced. So again, if you think the Dodgers win Game 6, the better bet is the Dodgers to win the World Series, because they're not going to be plus 200 dogs in Game 7. That's just not. They'll probably be favored in Game 7, to be quite honest. So you can say that Blake Snell has not been Blake Snell, and that's why this is currently at a Game 6 situation. He lost Game 1. He lost Game 5. He sucked in Game 1. He sucked in Game 5. Give the Blue Jays a ton of credit. They're the ones that made that guy pay for making bad pitches. So now, if you're a Dodger fan, Snell's not pitching again for the rest of the series. Okay, so Snell is gone. See you later. So you don't have to worry about Blake Snell. Now, it's all about Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Ohtani. And if Ohtani is on the mound in Game 7, like, we've seen incredible things before, okay? We have seen incredible acts and amazing feats by people in Game 7s. We've never seen a Game 7, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've never seen a Game 7 in which a guy pitches and hits and might be the most valuable player, might be the best player on the field, who's pitching and hitting in a Game 7. He'll be rested. Ohtani will be rested. Ohtani will be fully, his tank will be full, versus what happened in Game number 4, where he was not the same pitcher that we had seen for so many years, the last 2 years, because of the fact that he had just played an 18-inning baseball game and was on base 9 times. I'm just going to say this. I don't believe the Dodgers are dead. Okay. I do not believe the Dodgers are dead. I think they still have a shot. If I'm Toronto, don't go to a Game 7. Don't go to a Game 7. You have no idea what may happen. You do not want to go to a Game 7 at all if you are going to, we have Adam. Hold on. In a second. This is going to be interesting. Is he driving? This is going to be a first. We have a new little intro for our guy, our new thing. Sonic put this together. This is awesome because it really is accurate. Where in the world is Adam Bjorn? On what planet? Where is he? Adam, where are you? Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. And there has to be some winning tickets on this one, because this is one weekend that I speak about all the time. I've just pulled up to the hotel in Del Mar in San Diego. It's Breeders' Cup weekend.
I was dead wrong. I said just because it's Breeders' Cup weekend, it doesn't mean he has to be in San Diego. There you go. You're in San Diego. It looks beautiful. Are you excited about it?
Yes. I mean, best 2 days of racing. So took a red eye this morning. Alaska Airlines, never flown them before. Costa Rica into LA, just drove down. I guess it's the I-5 or something. And yeah, it just pulled up to the hotel. I did stop down about halfway to make sure I had all the numbers, all the information to be able to go through the games with you, and pulled up right at about 10:15. So I'm ready to go.
That's awesome. Thomas said, I'll take Costa Rica for 100 for Adam. So you left Costa Rica. Thomas was almost right. That's where you flew from, was Costa Rica?
1:20 a.m. I took the red eye this morning.
Well, that's good. You got out of there before the hurricane came through and all that nasty. So it was kicking around in the that part of the world. It's been all turned up with the airlines and everything else. So I'm glad to see you getting to San Diego. All right, we got a big game tonight, and before we let you go, I am going to ask you for a classic call. Who you backing coming up for the Breeders' Cup here later on this weekend? But what do you make of tonight, Thursday night? Big total. Seems like everyone's on the over tonight for the Dolphins hosting the Ravens. Anyone taking the under?
No, a lot of it's on the over there. It's about 72% of the money is sitting on the over there. It's sort of been pretty much one way. Not a lot of master action on that total. But yeah, the general public's all over that one.
What about the number? What about the side? Ravens money coming in at 7.5. It hasn't gone to 8, but anyone taking the home dog?
No, it's all Baltimore, 78% of the money overall, 68% of the master money, generally all at 6.5 and 7. There is, when it gets to the 7.5, there is a little bit of buyback. But yeah, right now it's all Baltimore.
Do you think this weekend, because the number I gave out yesterday, all 11 favorites last week covered by 7 points or more? That's the easiest cover weekend for favorites in the NFL in the last 30 years. Do
Wow.
we see a bounce back here with dogs, or what do you make of the numbers when the favorites are covering by that type of margin?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that, was it week 1 when they all went under or over, and then the next week it all flipped the other way? I mean, it's sort of hard to see too much. There's enough smart people out there that kind of push that number back when it does go a little bit extreme, when the recreational money just, follows the trend from last week. Most of the smart money is going against the trend from last week.
Yeah.
There's some big numbers on the board this week, and a lot of the money is on those big numbers and those favorites. So right now, maybe there's a couple of inflated numbers, but that's where the money is. The Packers, the Lions, it's just where it's coming in right now.
I know you guys have a lot of smart, you call them master sharp play that comes in, but I'm just curious on the parlay side of things, because favorites this year of 6 points or more have gone 68, 10, and 1 straight up. And if you take it to favorites of 8 points or more, they've gone 26 and 1 straight up. Do you guys see a lot of money line parlay action with big favorites, or is that still pretty much a rec play only?
No, we still see that. I mean, I know there's a lot of books that have had a hard time at it this year because of those favorites all winning like that and those straight up parlays. We have a little bit of different dynamic in the different states that we have, but we sort of see a bit of that in some states. And, we still have some sort of big, good customers that do come in and play those parlays. But the bookies have felt that those numbers don't surprise, because I have heard some pain on that side of it. Just those big favorites just winning and covering. And last week, especially in the afternoon games, was brutal.
Easy covers, easy overs. Like, it's just been a run here for favorites and overs over the last couple of weeks in the NFL. And so I'm curious, so that's why I'm thinking maybe some money comes on the Dolphins late, just because they think that trend's going to go the other way. But I mean, it's Thursday night, it's Tua, it's Lamar, it's the Ravens with their backs against the wall. I don't know. This feels like a blowout in a lot of ways. Survivor pick potential for this one, or are you staying off of it?
I'm staying off this. No more Thursday nights for me. I got through last week 3 out of my 4, and I was happy for that 4th one to go down with the Falcons. Clear the field, make it a little bit, the percentages were on my side. But, yeah, I won't be playing tonight's Survivor on that side. So I'm really hoping, and looking at the book, we're going to need the Dolphins. Money line, we're going to need the Dolphins. So I hope all those survivors fall into the Ravens, full team back, go for it. And then Dolphins just come up, knock them over, and we get rid of a few more.
It feels, I don't know. I'm scared of this game. I feel like the Dolphins may have something. The Ravens have been so inconsistent, and everyone's like off of a bye here, off of the short week. This is going to be an easy win for the Ravens, but this is a hard game to bet in my mind. Total, I like the over in the game, but I don't know about the side. Indianapolis is on the road against Pittsburgh. Last week, we had the narrative, Tomlin as a dog at home, and what happened? They got smoked by the Packers. Didn't go well. Now they're at home again, and they're home dogs again, and Indianapolis gets to go and show whether or not they're really one of the best teams in the NFL. Are you guys seeing any action on this? Anyway, taking the home dog, or are they liking the Colts here?
It's mainly on the Colts. Again, it's 62%, but generally at 2.5 and 3. There is some, Pittsburgh 3, some bought it to 3.5. The master money is pretty balanced, sort of 53% on the Colts side, but that's all at, at the 2.5 and a bit at the 3. This one looks like it's going to just hold at a solid 3 and won't go far from there.
Yeah, I can't see it going higher than 3.5. I love the Colts. This is a huge game for them with Mike Tomlin, back-to-back home games as dogs. You don't see it very often in the NFL with this one. The Vikings and the Lions, we talked about big numbers. It's 8.5. I don't think it's high enough, Adam. I think the Lions are going to kill the Vikings. I don't like JJ McCarthy. I don't like what we're seeing with this. If you have the Lions available, this is a survivor play in my mind. I think the Vikings are in big trouble here. Anybody taking the dog with Minnesota?
When it's at 10 and 9, a bit at 9.5. I did see some, but all the money was early at 8.5. Detroit, 78% of the money there. Little volume from the Masters, bit leaning to the Minnesota side, but that's at 10, and a little tickle at 9.5. So, I don't expect that number to go beyond 10. But the rec money is going to be all over Detroit this week.
Yeah, I think the pro money might be all over it too. I think you see both coming in here with the Lions over the Vikings. The game that may have the biggest handle, Chiefs against the Bills. Now, this is not a Sunday night game. This is an afternoon game. This is a 4:30 Eastern time kick here. Chiefs are road favorites against the Bills. They've had the Bills number for a while now. Can Buffalo finally get one against Mahomes?
Probably, but nobody's betting either side here. This is the lowest bet game so far this week.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's friendless, both sides. So I don't know if they're just not sure what to do with the game. But yeah, right now, this is by far the lowest bet game on the NFL slate this weekend.
How about that? You don't think that's going to go off as the lowest bet game, do you?
I can't imagine it will. But yeah, right now they're either just haven't decided what to do with it, or and there's $100 master money on it overall. There's just no interest in this game right now.
Wow. Well, what is the big interest game? What is the game that everybody is betting here on a Thursday before Sunday, week 9?
So the Lions Vikings is the big volume game. Patriots Falcons has got significant money.
On the Patriots or the Falcons?
So it's 67% of the money's on the Falcons on the master line, but it's at 7.5, 7. Generally, It's pretty well balanced around the 5.5, 6 on the game overall. And then the other surprising game was the Seahawks Commanders. Has got solid volume, but really high master volume both ways. At the number, at the 3, both ways. So I mean, they can't seem to decide which side to be on in that game, I should say.
Okay, that's a hard game to bet too. Yeah, Jaden Daniels and what he looks like going forward. That's okay. I like Seattle in that game though. Okay, to the college ranks we go. There's 3 games I want to touch on because it's odd. Vandy and Texas. Like all of a sudden we're talking about Vanderbilt every week because they're a top 10 team. All of a sudden everybody's loving Diego Pavia. Texas though at home as a favorite. Anybody thinking the magic continues with Vandy and taking Vanderbilt plus the points?
It's all Vandy. 85% of the money is Vandy. 97% of the master is Vandy. It's at the +3, +2.5. Texas, at the -2.5, but they're all over Vanderbilt this one, and it's good volume too. So
hard to not like Vanderbilt given what Texas has looked like at home. Oklahoma's on the road at Tennessee. This is now an SEC game, which is kind of odd, but it's a big one. 2 ranked teams going after it. Vols are a 3-point favorite at home. I got to think that the people are liking Tennessee at home, no?
This has got really good volume. It's well balanced overall, but generally the Tennessee money's coming in at -2.5, and the Oklahoma money's at +3, +3.5. So they're both sides are getting bet well, but they're very number sensitive here. Whether they're buying it down or buying it up, they're looking at being on Tennessee at the 2.5, but if it gets a 3.5, they're on Oklahoma.
All right, one more college game. This is always a fun game, but I mean, it could have been awesome. Florida has really not been good this year, but Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville, neutral field. Georgia's laying 7 in this to the Gators. Georgia needs this to keep things rolling in the SEC, but Florida looking to play spoiler after firing Billy Gillispie. Anybody taking the Gators?
So overall, 60% of the money is on Georgia, but 66% of the master money is on Florida. And this is a similar game where generally the money's at -7 Georgia, but the +7.5 on the master money is coming in on the Gators there.
Wild. All right. So Sovereignty is not running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. What does that do to the handicap for you that the number one horse everyone was going to go look to bet on is not running in the Classic?
And I was just trying to find my numbers in my sheets. Just give me a second. Hang on. um, yeah, because when Sovereignty come out, that was the sort of, the big favorite of the race. And there was trying to find which damn horse. Nevada. Classic.
Nevada Beach?
Nevada Beach, I've got a bit of a go at on that one. Again, still early stages, still putting the numbers together. But I did have a bit of a pinch at that one before Sovereignty come out. Now that the odds have restructured. When it comes to Breeders' Cup, it's very much a numbers game. You can have horses early on. I do bet some futures where I can get on outside of the US. But there's so much money in these pools. There's so many sort of value things that come up as the race gets to go to jump. So I can have a horse that I really like, but if it's an underlay, I don't touch it. And there's a horse that I sort of have, say I market at 8s or 10s and it's 40s, then I'll jump all over it kind of thing. So Breeders' Cup, there's just so much wreck money in the pools that you really get an opportunity to sort of pick some spots as the races come up as they go through.
It feels like everyone's going to be on journalism now because Sovereignty is out. Is that fair? Like you may get a better price on Nevada Beach as we get closer to the game, no?
Well, I mean, from today versus that, but when you take out, a sort of a 47% favorite out of the original market. But yeah, I think it's a wide open race. I think it's, even with Sovereignty in there, I wasn't sold on it. I was happy to lay it. I was going to take it on. But now it's really wide open.
Interesting. The chat's wanting to know, are we still getting a live stream for you for your Survivor and Circa picks coming up this weekend?
Yes, I have no idea what time it'll be. I know I'll be at the track. It'll be done somewhere, somehow, maybe in between two races. I'll try and pull Scott in, but I'd actually identified this week about 4 or 5 weeks ago as the LA week, where both the Rams and the Chargers looked like, this was the time to play them. I can't see anything really changing from that because it, looks like the best times to use them. But still got 36 hours to have a look at it. But that's 3-4 weeks out. That's what I was looking at for this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong on that. I mean, the Rams, I mean, the Chargers are playing the Titans. Okay, that obviously that's something to go ahead and jump in on. And the Rams are a team that I think are peaking in the right way. I mean, big numbers, the big spreads, big numbers. Heavy favorites have done really well. Obviously, we gave those stats out earlier about just what the domination has been for teams, and the Saints aren't good, and the Chargers are facing the Titans. So, I mean, those seem like two very, very good plays on this. Is there anything you have to do when you go to Del Mar? Is there a place, a race you look forward to? Is there a beach you want to go to? What's on the itinerary for when you hit when the surf meets the turf?
So I've only been here once. I came here to the Breeders' Cup again 3-4 years ago, or whenever they last had it here. San Diego is very much like an area where I grew up in Australia on the beach and whatnot. I am having a lunch this afternoon with Roxy Roxborough and some of the known gamblers of whatnot. So I have been invited to some of those things over the years, and I've never been able to make it. So that's probably my highlight of the week, is having lunch with Roxy and some of his buddies. That's as good as it gets. And then I'm sitting with him in his box tomorrow. And then Saturday I'll, fight through there. But I am entering into the Breeders' Cup betting challenge.
Okay.
So I have to sort of, have the lunch today, get home, do some homework, go in, see how I go Friday, and then sort of make a plan for Saturday. But yeah, it's going to be an aggressive weekend of punting.
Is that contest a set figure, or is it pari-mutuel, meaning how much money is bet into it, how much money you can win? Do they guarantee a certain win percentage or win number?
Yeah, so it's a 10,000 entry, 25 goes into the entry pot, 7,500 onto your betting card. So you're using 7,500, and whatever you win with that 7,500 or lose the 7,500, which happened the last time I did it, then you get to keep that. And then there's a pot of about $500,000 usually that goes out to the top 20 finishers. I think the last few years the winners got about 350 to 400,000. So yeah, it's just again, have some fun at the track, play some bets.
Not a bad weekend at all. Adam, enjoy yourself for sure. Do us a favor and say hi to Roxy. He's a gentleman, a scholar, and an amazing human. It's always great to hear him kicking around and having some fun at Del Mar. So say hi to Roxy for us all. Best of luck this weekend. Hopefully next week we'll recap a big weekend of the track for you.
All right, cheers. Thanks, Matt. All the
Adam
best.
Bjorn at the track joining us here on the Bostonian versus the book on a BetCris Arizona Thursday. So good call to you guys saying, where was Adam going to be? Well, it was Breeders' Cup. I didn't think he was going to go. I'll admit it. I didn't think he was going to be at the Breeders' Cup. I thought Adam would wind up finding his way somewhere else. So that's pretty cool to see Adam at the Breeders' Cup on this. By the way, I forgot to hit the stream on Instagram. So we just went live on Instagram like 10 minutes ago. So I apologize. If you're watching on Instagram, that's my bad. I forgot to hit. I have to manually hit fire to go on Instagram live. So sorry about that. That's on me. So that was fun to get Adam on the program. Let's continue talking about what's going on here and what happened last night. Because if you're a Laker fan, there's some really funky things going on right now. All right, what happened last night? Austin Reeves. That's what happened last night. Game-winning shot for Austin Reeves after he just has completely, I don't want to say filled in for LeBron, but he's done. It's incredible to see what he's been doing for this Laker team, because without him, I don't know where the Lakers would be, to be quite honest. I mean, if you're a Laker fan, you got to be a little concerned that your best player right now has been Austin Reeves. I mean, he in a 116-115 win, the Lakers are now 2-0 on the road, and Reeves followed up a massive performance with 28 points from the night before, 20 points last night against the Trailblazers. They lose the game 122-108. Drew Holiday had 24 points in that game, and that's a game for the Lakers. You thought that was going to be a W, given the everything going on with the Trailblazers at the moment. But you get Austin Reeves scoring 51 points, hitting 4 big free throws down the stretch in the final minute for the Lakers in that 127-120 win over the Kings. So you got, if you're an Austin Reeves fan, if you're a Laker fan, you got to feel like you got some positive momentum going here right now for the Lakers. And Austin Reeves with a hell of a performance last night, and a guy who, if you're a Laker fan, yeah, he is on a Linsanity type of run. Yeah, out of nowhere, everyone's like, where'd this come from? From Austin to score 51 points for Austin Reeves. Yeah, pretty impressive performance as to what he's been doing. From the category of nobody asked for it, so why the hell are we talking about it? Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are in negotiations with Netflix to have a rematch from their fight back, whatever it was, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Does anybody actually want to watch this? Like Floyd versus Pacquiao 2. Now, Floyd versus Pacquiao 1 was about 10 years too late. Floyd versus Pacquiao 2 is boring. I don't need to see guys who are way too old to be in the ring punching against each other. And what do we know about, the issues around Pacquiao? Pacquiao needs money, always. Like, Pacquiao never is lacking of the need to make money. So he's always looking for different types of payday and payday opportunities. And Netflix is currently in this weird realm of like, we will fund the things that nobody else really wants to fund, because you can put it on a subscription site and people are going to watch. And they've done big numbers, and they're going to keep doing big numbers for boxing, but nobody wanted to see this. And now, if you're a boxing fan, this is another black eye, no pun intended, to the sport of boxing, because we don't need to watch this. This is not going to be fun. This is going to be like watching Mike Tyson fight. It's completely boring. Like, Yes, it's a great point, Ish. Does anyone want to watch this? No, but people will definitely watch it. Yeah, because it's on Netflix. That's why people would watch it, because it's the same thing like with Happy Gilmore, right? So you look at Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 1 was huge. Happy Gilmore 2 did huge numbers, like huge numbers. But what was the main takeaway with oh, sorry, my thing going out. What was the main takeaway from Happy Gilmore 2? Happy Gilmore 2 was the biggest movie ever to open on Netflix. Everybody went and watched it. Everybody was angry about it. They were all mad about it, but they all watched it. I watched it. I liked it, but I liked it more than most, but I had really low standards. I had low expectations for the movie, so it was a little bit easier for me because I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was like, it's Happy Gilmore. What do you expect? Like an Oscar-winning movie? Like, what are we doing? So now, if you are looking at the sport of boxing, and you're looking at these are the fights that are going to get headlines. These are the fights, like Jake Paul against Tank. Like, these are the fights that people are going to want to watch. No, like, this is horrible. Scotty Scheffler was the highlight. He was good. I thought he was good. I thought a lot of the cameos were good. I mean, I thought Travis Kelce's cameo was a little weird. But if you're a fan of just very basic movies and just a fun 2 hours, not looking for anything too heavy, Happy Gilmore 2 was fine. This Floyd Pack 2, no, there is no need. There is absolutely no need to watch that fight. None. College football week 10. We'll get into it tomorrow with a Fight Song Friday. We just touched on it a little bit with Adam Bjorn. We'll get further into it coming up tomorrow on the program. But what could have been? I mean, you look at what could have been. How about this? Penn State, Ohio State. These are preseason rankings. You had Penn State, Ohio State. You had 2 versus 3. Now it's number 1 versus nothing. Penn State. Miami and SMU. You had a top 10 Miami team and you had a top 20 SMU team. SMU stinks. Arizona State and Iowa State, both teams unranked. South Carolina, Ole Miss. South Carolina can't get out of their own way. Ole Miss top 10 ranked. Texas Tech and Kansas State. Kansas State's been a complete dumpster fire this year. Texas Tech will roll them. Oklahoma and Tennessee. That game still can be good. That might be the game of the weekend. But Florida and Georgia, that was 2 top 20 teams playing on an unbelievable, Jacksonville Saturday. Nope. Georgia's ranked in the top 5. Florida fired Billy Napier. Like, this had the potential to be an absolute barn burner of a football weekend for college if we actually had the teams performing the way they were supposed to perform. And unfortunately, only one team in almost every one of those games except Arizona State and Iowa State, where both teams have been bad. It's a frustration. I mean, I think as a college football fan, this was the worry for so many of us who love college football about what might happen in the NIL and transfer portal worlds, that we might really have a couple of weekends of complete dud games in October and November, where we might have, November games are going to be good because the rivalry games get going. The SEC has still, Vanderbilt at Texas is an unbelievable game. Okay. It is wild because it's Vanderbilt, and we're all going to be jumping up and down about Diego Pavia going on the road as a dog to Arch Manning and Texas, who Arch got hurt last week. I think he's playing in this game, right? I got to go do some more research on that game. But you have a favorite in Texas where the Sarkisian news that leaked out, Diana Rossini had a really weird interview yesterday talking to I forget what show was that, what she was on. Lebitard. She was on with Dan Lebitard. And she said, I didn't talk to Sarkisian. I didn't talk to Sarkisian's agent. And I didn't talk to any teams in the NFL. But I made a report that Steve Sarkisian will be looking to leave Texas at the end of the year and to go to the NFL. He will be interested in jobs in the NFL. So it's kind of like, who'd you talk to? If you didn't talk to Sark and you didn't talk to his agent and you didn't talk to any NFL team, who told you that Sarkisian was going to leave for the NFL? Like, who could you have spoken to that would made you feel comfortable with reporting that? So I was talking to a friend of mine and they said, well, it was probably a rival agent that she was talking to, that somebody said, hey, Sark is going to be pretty aggressive. You should watch out for Sarkisian. He's going to be pretty interested in the NFL. I've heard his agent is putting his name into, coaching searches and look for different jobs and open up, in the NFL that might be, Sarkisian may be interested. But it is one of those strange stories, and Sarkisian shot it down. His agent shot it down, and he basically said, like, I have no interest. I'm staying at Texas. I don't know where you're getting this, but I'm and maybe he is trying to angle the way that Matt Rule just angled Nebraska for an extension. I mean, they did it completely properly. I mean, tip of the cap to the agency for Matt Rule, because everyone assumed that Penn State would take a look at him. And what did he do? He then leveraged it to an extension and a raise at Nebraska. Has he done anything at Nebraska to justify a raise and an extension? No, he hasn't, other than being born, in and around Penn State and going to Penn State and then coaching at Temple. Then Matt Rule goes ahead and leverages that for a contract. So I don't know if that's what Sarkisian's people are doing, or people around the country who may be helping Sarkisian get his name out there with the NFL. But was anybody like, we all watch football, we watch the NFL, anybody like, yeah, go get Steve Sarkisian. If you're a fan of an NFL franchise, you're like, yeah, that guy. Like that guy, he should go coach in the NFL because, he's dominated college. He's got nothing left to prove in college. Like, what? He looks like Cliff Kingsbury to me. Like, if he wound up going to becoming a head coach in the NFL, he will be an offensive coordinator in the NFL within 4 years. Like, I just don't see Sarkisian being successful in the NFL. I've been wrong before, but he looks like Josh McDaniels. He looks like, Cliff Kingsbury. Like, these are guys who are great offensive minds who do not have the ability to be a CEO of an entire franchise, of an entire organization. So if I'm Sark, you're at Texas, dude. Like, stay right where you are. And again, maybe it's a way of just leveraging Texas to get more money out of Texas. But that made no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me on that. Jimmy Jack, Corn going to lose to another top 25 opponent on Saturday, and they gave Rule a raise. USC is the opponent for Nebraska coming up this weekend. Really, if you're a Husker fan, if you beat USC this weekend, you got a very winnable schedule. Like you could win out if you're Nebraska. Like, the loss to Minnesota was bad, but Nebraska's got a very favorable schedule over the next 4 games. And Penn State was supposed to be this big, tough opponent at the end of the year, along with Iowa. Iowa hasn't been very good. Penn State stinks. So, what do you, if you're Nebraska, you got to feel like, okay, we got a shot here of running the table. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd be fading Nebraska too quickly here against USC coming up this weekend, but Rule getting that extension, he was either going to get that or he was going to wind up going to Penn State, or at least interviewing with Penn State. So I get why Nebraska did it. I just don't necessarily think he earned it. I think he was just very lucky to have that opportunity kind of fall into his lap, literally fall into his lap, and get an extension because Penn State fired James Franklin. Let's make some bets. It is time for Just the Picks. It's being brought to you by Betting Pros' prop bet cheat sheet. If you guys gone and checked out the prop bet cheat sheet, you can do it for tonight. Oh, sorry. You can do it for tonight. bettingpros.com/props, or go to the Betting Pros app. You can download it in the App Store to go and check out the prop bet cheat sheet. You can compare lines with daily NFL projections, 4 and 5 star plays that are up. You can sift through it. You can make your own criteria if you would like. I use it all the time to find different prop bets that are available in the marketplace, including prop bets that I've made for tonight. It's a prop bet cheat sheet from Betting Pros. Go to bettingpros.com/props, or go to the Betting Pros app, and it's available on that as well. You can go and download the app, the Betting Pros app, in the App Store. So let's talk about tonight. What do you make of the Dolphins and the Ravens? To me, I think the only play is the over. Okay. I got over 50.5. It's currently 51.5. The Ravens and the Dolphins combined have only seen 3 games this season not go over. Every road game, 2-0 to the over on the road for the Ravens, and every home game for the Dolphins has gone over as well, 4-0 to the over as well. These are bad defenses, okay? These are good quarterbacks. We'll see how active Lamar is going to be with his legs and whether or not Lamar is going to be able to pick up first downs with the hamstring injury that he has. But I just think that there's an opportunity for a lot of offense here with these two teams against bad defenses. The last 9 home games for the Dolphins have gone over. They score at home and they give up points at home. And I have a hard time seeing the Dolphins. Yes, they just shut down the Falcons, but I don't think they're going to shut down the Ravens here on a short week. And frankly, Mike McDaniel on a short week has been bad. Like, he's just been bad against the spread, straight up. He's been a guy that you've wanted to fade on short rest for whatever reason. Some coaches do well on Thursdays, others do not. Mike McDaniel has not been good. They're 0-4 straight up on Thursday night. They're 1-3 against the number. The only spread they covered was this year when they were 11.5-point dogs to Buffalo. In the 4 losses, the Dolphins have lost by 14 points per game. Since 2000, only 4 head coaches are 0-4 straight up or worse on Thursday Night Football. Dennis Allen, Adam Gase, and Pat Shurmur. You don't want your name associated with Dennis Allen, Adam Gase, and Pat Shurmur. That is bad. McDaniel has coached 5 career games in which the Dolphins are underdogs on short rest. Miami is 0-5, and they have allowed over 29 points per game in those 5 games. So while you look at underdogs and you look at what has happened on Thursday night being a decent spot for underdogs, John Harbaugh has coached 16 games on Thursday Night Football with the Ravens. He's 11-5 straight up. As a favorite, he's 10-1 straight up, 1-4 straight up as an underdog. So look, this game to me, if you like same game teasers, this is a same game teaser. Okay. Take the 7.5, pull it down to 1.5, take the total, pull it down to 44.5 and bet over. Okay. I've done it. I think that's probably the easiest way. If you want a no sweat type of bet tonight, I think that's a no sweat bet. I would be stunned if the Ravens lose this game. Stunned if the Ravens do not win. They have to win the next 5 weeks. They really have no choice. They have to win the next 5 weeks. So maybe they don't cover the 7.5. Maybe the Dolphins backdoor it. But I cannot see the Ravens losing this game outright to the Miami Dolphins. So I have same game teased this, but I think you bet the over 50.5. It's at 51.5 at certain books. I wouldn't bet 52 or higher, but under 52, I think you're okay with the Ravens and the Dolphins coming up here for tonight. I do think we see a lot of offense coming up here for tonight. I have 2 prop bets. I'll give you one, and then I'll give you the official BVB prop bet of the day. Tua to go under 32.5 passing attempts. This has been a pretty good bet with Tua, but I don't think they're going to ask him to drop back and throw a ton here against this Ravens pass rush. The Ravens don't stop the run. That's what they've had a hard time with. But the Ravens can. They got 5 first-round picks in the secondary. The Ravens have a decent secondary when they play up to their abilities, and they can get after their quarterback. They can pass rush, and we know that Tua holds onto the ball too long, and Tua is not the most active, not the most mobile of quarterbacks these days. So under 32.5 passing attempts for Tua tonight. I think he winds up having a big game where he's handing the ball off to most of the night. Play action passes, but not over 32.5 passing attempts coming up here for tonight. Here's the official BVB prop bet of the day. Okay, we're going with a little Devon Achane. Over 94.5 rushing and receiving. This guy has done this in 4 of the last 5 games. This is a guy who has had a 150-yard game rushing and receiving just in the last month. I think he'll have a big game here tonight. I think he's going to be a major weapon up against this Ravens team. I think the screen game for A-Chain is going to be big. I think the running the ball against the Ravens is going to be big. I think he has a big game, over 94.5 rushing and receiving yards. You can shop around. I found this at 94.5 where other books were at 97.5. So I got a little value here on this, but I do like this opportunity. I do think we're going to see a big night out of Devon A-Chain for the Dolphins here, over 94.5 rushing and receiving yards tonight here on Thursday Night Football. Let's talk a little news of the industry because, well, the Chauncey Billups story just won't stop. Ish, where'd you get 91.5? 93.5 for Seth. 91.5 at FanDuel. Wow. Good job, guys. That's great. Good numbers. I got 94.5, 91.5. Woof. Okay. Good numbers. Like it a lot. Good job out of you. I'm jealous. I got 94. DK now is at 91. That's where I got 94.5. DK's down to 91.5. Ooh, people are betting, the pros are betting the under in that for that prop. Okay. Interesting. All right. We'll see what happens. That's prop bet cheat sheet likes the over on that. And it's been pretty darn good in football and in baseball. Basketball's been a little on the up and down, but one of the first times you get the better number than me. That's good. I wonder if there's an injury there that nobody knows about. I wonder if that's the case, but then again, I don't often mind to be on the other side of steam. If we have the right numbers and we have the right handicap, I don't think it really matters all that much when it comes to the steam, but that's interesting. 91. I wish I had your number. I had 94.5. When I bet it, there was some at 97.5, but maybe that number was coming down because of an injury that nobody knows about. Let's see what happens in pregame. If it leaks out that Devon A-Chain's got an injury of some sort, it's going to keep that number down. So I like Devon A-Chain to go over, but I've been wrong before. Let's talk about this story because it won't go away. And it feels like a movie. On ESPN.com, Chauncey Billups, because of his ties in the poker world and the sports betting cases, the investigators are alleging that Billups gave non-public information about the Blazers to the same man he allegedly lost hands of poker to on purpose so as to not arouse any suspicion. This is the old, rope-a-dope of where you intentionally lose a game or a hand. You intentionally let a guy have a big score so no one thinks that the game was fixed. Well, the game was fixed, right? We've known this. Allegedly, Chauncey Billups was one of the guys that was not just involved in the story in the poker game, but Chauncey Billups was also heavily involved in putting it together, pushing it out, finding players to go and be a part of this. He called them, quote, fishes, according to the indictment, that he was heavily involved in what happened and knew exactly what was going to happen and knew what was going on in this poker room. Now, it's been, I'm probably going to get hammered for saying this, but I just want to say this. In the 22-page indictment that Billups has been accused of his involvement of a rigged poker game associated with the mafia, I think it's interesting because the leaking of information about his own teams to gamblers, that's illegal. That's a law that he broke. But I'm having a hard time, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm having a hard time putting this all together of so the money that was stolen, and let's just call it being stolen. Well, if you have a poker game and you run an organized poker game that is not on the up and up, and people are coming in under their own free will, and people are playing in the poker game and they're losing in the poker game, what's the law being broken there? Now, you can say the money and what happens with the money, that there's IRS implications and there's tax evasion implications and there's business license implications and there's all these things that go on when you're running an organization that I think Chauncey Billups could have been involved with. And I'm not saying Chauncey Billups is a good guy for being a part of this, but an illegal poker game, Molly's game, you guys are referencing that. We talked about that a couple days ago, but Molly's game, she got pinched because they were taking a rake they're running an illegal poker. So it's an illegal gambling ring that they're doing. So that is what makes it illegal. But they're making it out to sound so much more sinister that the cheating is what really is the problem. When really it's just running an illegal poker game. I mean, that's not even that big of a deal. Like, okay, so the mob is running it, but I'll put a pin in this. We'll talk about this more in bonus time because I have some other questions I want to ask. But big thank you to Adam Bjorn for coming on in. Hopefully he does really well at the Breeders' Cup and with the Classic being run coming up on Saturday at the Breeders' Cup at Santa outside San Diego. At Del Mar. But if you guys are watching on the replay, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you're live on YouTube, X, or listening on the audio podcast, don't move. You guys get bonus time right now. So just play me out here, okay? So Molly got in trouble because of taking a rake. So that's what made it, it's against gaming regulations in the state in New York that she was in. So she's running an illegal poker game. So Chauncey Billups is running an illegal poker game. What do we think Billups is going to get? Like, forget the information. Like, what do you think he's going to get from a penalty standpoint? I don't know, to be quite honest. He played and he helped to run an illegal poker ring that fleeced money from people who simply wanted to play poker with Chauncey Billups. Is it unsavory? Yeah. Is it, is it a pretty crummy thing to do? Yes. But like, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, he's not going to get, like, Chauncey Billups is not going to jail for this. So the problem really is that Chauncey Billups gave insider information to gamblers. That, I think, is a way bigger fucking deal. Like that, I think, if you're going to go ahead and classify like what exactly went down, like Kash Patel at the news conference said, let's not mince words. This is insider trading for the NBA. That's what it is. Well, in some ways, yeah, okay, but like, calm down, dude. Okay, like you're not on Wall Street, so stop it. I just have a hard time when I was reading this whole article by Ramona Shelburne, and I'm going through myself. I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, the insider trading stuff, the information that he gave about what was happening with the Portland Trailblazers, to me, it's like it's way worse than the poker. Way worse than the poker. So, like, I think it's interesting when you think about this for a second, because he may get in more trouble because he was trying to throw a guy off the scent of the illegal or the crooked poker game that he was running. He didn't want that guy to catch on, so he was giving that guy information to keep him quiet or keep him satisfied by giving him betting information. That might get him in more trouble than actually being around and being involved in an illegal poker game. Because again, what's he getting for the illegal poker game? I don't think he's going to get all that much trouble. Like, the NBA could fire him for it and say, hey, you're banned from the NBA. I'm talking about like legal issues, not professional issues. He'll never coach in the NBA ever again. His NBA career is done. So see you later. He's done. But I just don't think it's that big of a deal. And the FBI wanted a face. They wanted a name. They wanted a perp walk. They wanted to have a press conference and to sit here and say that, Chauncey Billups was the mastermind, or make it look like Chauncey Billups was the mastermind of this, when really he was just a guy involved in it. Was he involved? Yes, he was involved. But does he deserve to be, tarred and feathered about all this? No, he doesn't. Like, I don't think what he did, I think what he did was wrong, okay? But I think it's a slap on the wrist, and it's just like a move on. It's a suspended sentence type of thing, someone said in the chat. And I would agree that that's just all it looks like. So I still find this to be, I'm looking around going like, where are the mafia guys? Where are the mafia guys? Like, where are the dudes that look like my grandfather? Like, my grandfather was Joseph DeQuatro. Where are the guys with names like that? Okay? Not Chauncey Billups, okay? About this. And we still don't have much information about who the quote mafia was in all of this. So okay, so we're just going to ruin Chauncey Billups' life because he was involved with this and nobody else is going to be around. Because Terry Rozier is a different conversation. Terry Rozier had an $8 million lien on him by the IRS from 2023. He had tax problems. Terry Rozier had money problems. So Terry Rozier going out there and throwing games, Terry Rozier going out there and giving information to gamblers, that is a whole different conversation. That actually, I think, is something you go to jail for. That's game fixing. That's market fixing. There's a lot that goes into that. Okay. There is a lot that goes into what Terry Rozier did. So you want to make him the face of this? Okay, fine. I'm more willing to have that conversation about Terry Rozier because of what he got himself into, the trouble he got himself into, and what he has to pay and how he was trying to pay off the government for the money that he owed. It was a very similar thing what happened with Jonte Porter, right? Jonte Porter had a big debt, a gambling debt that he had to pay off. And he was a two-way player. He wasn't making a lot of money. And so he was trying to say, hey, to pay off my debt, I'll give you this information. That's why illegal, black market gambling was always such a big problem because those things were happening all the time. Now we're seeing it more on the up and up because we're seeing these watchdog groups can flag certain betting markets and they can flag things that might not look like it's on the up and up. It might be a bit on the, darker side of things. So I just find this whole thing so fascinating. I find this whole thing so interesting about the way it's being portrayed and the way it's being talked about publicly right now, and how Chauncey Billups is this awesome, awful human being. And Chauncey Billups did this awful thing and he gave information out and he was involved. He's named in both of these investigations and both the indictments. Chauncey Billups is there. He provided non-public information to gamblers. In the second one, they allege he was not only aware of the poker game, but he also participated in getting them rigged. He helped to organize them and deceiving people. I mean, again, if you're involved in an illegal gambling ring and you're going to, to New York, to Vegas, to California, and you're going to all these different illegal poker places, these poker games that are big money, $50,000 stake type games. Does it matter that you rigged it? Does it matter? I mean, somebody's going to care, but should the authorities care? What do they care? It's a tax evasion problem, isn't it? Not the fact that they were rigging games, it's that they weren't paying the taxes or the licenses to be able to do this. So, I mean, Damon Jones, who was giving inside information about what was happening with the Lakers, that's a big deal to me. Terry Rozier being in big time money problems, that's a big deal to me. The Chauncey Billups stuff, again, I think it's probably a bigger deal that he was giving information to gamblers about what was going on involving his team that he was coaching. That's a bigger deal to me. That's a huge situation because it was Damian Lillard. It was happening with the tanking. It was happening with whether he was going to be traded or not. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting look at what is actually illegal versus what's considered to be wrong. Remember, the Trailblazers tanked for the number 1 pick trying to get Wembanyama. They didn't get him. So they got Scoot Henderson instead. And, we'll see how that plays out down the line. But it's a very interesting story, the way it's all being portrayed at the moment and how we're, just making people into bad guys when I'm not sure how much. I'm not sure how much Billups did that would put him behind bars. Kick him out of the NBA? Yeah. Call the integrity of Trailblazer games into question? Absolutely. Put him behind bars? I don't know. I've got 2 favorite things about today to talk about, and I like them both. This is my first one. My first favorite thing about today. And I'm sorry it took me a couple of days to open my email. I don't check my email as much as I should. AskTheBVB.com. How about that? That is Addison and Roger Long getting together in Indiana. And I forget where you guys were, Roger. You can tell me in the chat. I'll put it on the screen where you and Addison were. It's clearly a Larry Bird something. A Larry Bird museum, a Larry Bird something or other. But nothing makes me happier than when we put brigade members together who would never hang out otherwise, who would never know each other otherwise, who are both wearing BBB hats together in Indiana, driving to meet each other, to now have a friendship. Larry's Museum. Okay, there's a Larry Bird Museum in Indiana. I didn't know that. I probably should know that there's a Larry Bird Museum. But favorite thing about today, the first one is this, that you two guys took the time to get together, to drive, to be a part of it. Really cool. And I would agree. You guys, when you make it your own, I think it's so cool when you guys are able to meet in the chat and then have conversations with each other and, find time in different walks of life, in different age brackets, and still wanting to hang out with each other and just be a part of each other. It's super cool. So that was awesome. I appreciate both you guys doing that and sending me that picture. I apologize. I didn't get to it until last night, but I saw it last night and I was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Like, that's so cool. That's just so cool to see you guys get together and be a part of it. And whenever you guys do that, 100% send me there. Yeah, Jimmy Jack, I'm efforting to do that, to take the show on the road. There are some conversations going on about what to do with the show in terms of where we would take it on the road. I mean, technically I'm on the road right now, even though I'm at Amanda's house, but I'm at my girlfriend's house, but the show is not in Vegas. But yes, to take it to a public place. Yeah, we're going to really try to do that, to take it on the road to a couple different places. I'm trying to go back to the Super Bowl, but that's a little bit of different. That's not really, that's Radio Row. That's not really, out. That's a broadcast job type thing. But so I'm trying to take the show to the next time we would be out of Vegas to do the show in a public place would be on Radio Row in Santa Clara. But that would be the question next. And yes, there will be a BBB meetup. I want to take the show back to Chicago. If I'm picking, I want to go back to Chicago if I can. So trying to do that. And then finally, for my favorite thing about today, this came out in the Des Moines Register yesterday. Former Come and Go owner says the name change was unexpected. Maverick, which is in the process of retiring the Come and Go name, which is so stupid. The name that was associated with the Des Moines-based chain since 1975. Several Metro stores in Des Moines have already flipped to the new brand. The former owners spoke publicly for the first time to the Des Moines Register 2 days ago, saying the new owners are good people and that they were not aware that they were going to change the name of Come and Go when they sold Come and Go. Him and his wife, Sharon, said Jay Krause, the owner, said he was surprised, but that the company's leaders are, quote, good people and are entitled to do as they wish, which was a stupid decision to change Come and Go. Why would you change that brand? Why would you do that? If you buy an iconic brand like that, why would you flip it to just some other name? And yes, Vinny, it is come and gone. Yes, it's come and gone. Long live. Yep. Easy come, easy go. Absolutely. 100%. One of the best names, one of the craziest things for any kid like me from the Northeast who was moving up from Alabama to go to Iowa and to stop and go, what the fuck does that say? Like, what does that, what? Really? Come and Go? Like, really? With a K? K-U-M? That's what, wait, come on. Really? And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's so good. You got to go in there and get the breakfast pizza. It's tremendous. You're like, wait, what? You have to do what? Like, and yes, Whitrock, 100%. I think you guys in Iowa will always call it, even if it's Maverick, you guys will always call it Come and Go. But it's kind of like Buc-ee's. It's like Buc-ee's in Texas. It's like, what are you doing? You cannot change the name of that. Like, you can't. It's inappropriate. That's the whole damn point. Like, the whole point of it's inappropriate. You're a damn gas station. Do you know how hard it is to have a brand that people associate and like as a gas station? Like, you literally are the most, like, nobody likes to go to you because it's a pain in the ass. Knowing what you do, go get gas. You're going to bitch about the cost of gas. You're going to go get a cup of coffee. It's going to suck. You're going to go in there and pay too much for a stick of gum or whatever. It's constant bitching. It's all you do. And you have a brand that people want to wear t-shirts around the world for your brand. And you change it? Can't do it. Can't do it. Just can't be done. They 100% should go back. But at least they are acknowledging that, yes, Dave loved it. Dave didn't believe me. That was one of the funnier things when I told him, like, it's come and go. He went, wait, what? I said, come and go. Absolutely. And Dave was like, no. I said, come on. We had to go and find him that 100%. There was a gas station in Iowa, a big chain called Come and Go. Oh, that's right. You did, Whitrock. You gave him the Come and Go stocking cap. That's right. Yeah. Buc-ee's is robbery. Why is Buc-ee's robbery? Buc-ee's is not robbery. Buc-ee's was great. I love Buc-ee's. I still love Buc-ee's. There's brigade members that every year I get a Buc-ee's care package from. It's tremendous. Martin and his wife. It's tremendous stuff. They send up. I love Buc-ee's. How can you not? Madeline's got I think I've got 4 Buc-ee's t-shirts. Madeline's got like 3 or 4 Buc-ee's t-shirts. Buc-ee's is awesome. I love Buc-ee's. I'm a big fan. Big fan of the barbecue, and that's a gas station. If you have a gas station that people know about and people talk about, whether it be the Love truck stops, whether it be the Buc-ee truck stops or the Come and Go truck stops or whatever, truck and go, you have something like that, you don't change it. You don't change it. You leave it alone and you ride it for as long as you can, because that's a gravy train you just take. And yes, I know the puns I'm making on purpose, but yikes. Come on, man. Come on, Maverick. Go back to what it was. Think about it. Even from a nostalgia standpoint, go back to Come and Go. Come on now. Go back to what it should be, is to Come and Go. Fight Song Friday is tomorrow. Newbie will stop by. We'll get into anything and everything he wants to get into on a Friday, as we'll look at Florida and Georgia a bit more closely. We'll talk about Vandy and Texas a bit more, make some picks and plays for the weekend, as well as week 9 bets for the NFL. Stick around for that tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. My thanks to Adam Bjorn and BetCris Arizona. If you guys have options to bet with BetCris or with Prime Sportsbook this coming weekend, hopefully you guys will do so. Breeders' Cup as well, obviously, in Kentucky. You have Prime in Kentucky. Go make your Breeders' Cup bets there, or if you're in Arizona for that matter as well. If you're going over to Del Mar, have a good time. We were there last year. It was tremendous. I planned on showing pictures of it tomorrow on the show, and I will. That'll be my favorite thing about today, is it would be 1 year since Dave and I did the show from Del Mar, which was just absolutely amazing. The best backdrop we ever had for BVB was the paddock at Del Mar. It was so gorgeous. So we 1 year anniversary of that show coming up tomorrow. We'll put some pictures on the board up on the screen tomorrow. For the rest of in the next 23 hours, I'll talk to you at 1 p.m. Eastern time for a Fight Song Friday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.